Right now, as you're listening to my voice, there are microscopic invaders living inside your body. They're feeding off your nutrients, manipulating your neurotransmitters, and literally hijacking your brain chemistry. But here's what's going to blow your mind. These physical parasites are just the tip of the iceberg. There's an entire dimension of parasitic consciousness that's been feeding off your life force since childhood. And the connection between the two is about to change everything you thought you knew about healing. I'm about to share something with you that will sound absolutely insane to anyone trapped in the mainstream medical paradigm. But if you've been following my journey, if you've been doing the inner work, if you've started to see through the veil of conventional reality, then you're ready for this truth. Your depression, your anxiety, your inability to feel joy, your chronic fatigue. What if I told you that these aren't just psychological symptoms? What if there are literal parasites, both physical and energetic, that have been systematically draining your life force for decades? 3 months ago, I discovered something that connected every piece of my healing puzzle. I was researching the connection between gut health and mental health when I stumbled across research showing how certain parasites can actually manipulate host behavior by secreting neurotransmitters. But then I went deeper. I started exploring the energetic dimension, and what I found changed my entire understanding of trauma, consciousness, and healing. If you're ready to go down this rabbit hole with me, if you're ready to understand the hidden forces that have been sabotaging your healing journey, hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video, and tell me in the comments, have you ever felt like something was feeding off your energy? Because what I'm about to share with you is going to explain so much about why traditional healing methods have failed you. Let me start with something that's going to sound like science fiction, but it's documented scientific fact. There's a parasite called Toxoplasma gondii that can literally rewire the brain of its host. When rats get infected with this parasite, they lose their natural fear of cats and actually become attracted to cat urine. The parasite colonizes the part of the brain that controls reflexes and creates new neural pathways to control the host's behavior. Now, here's the terrifying part. This same parasite infects humans, and when it does, it's associated with paranoia, delusions, and other psychiatric symptoms. But this is just one example. Scientists have discovered that parasites routinely manipulate their hosts by secreting dopamine, serotonin, and other neurotransmitters directly into the nervous system. They're literally hijacking your brain chemistry, and your thoughts and emotions are being influenced by microscopic invaders that have their own agenda. Now, if you're thinking this sounds crazy, I want you to consider something. How many times have you had thoughts that didn't feel like your own? How many times have you found yourself craving foods that you know are bad for you? How many times have you felt compelled to engage in behaviors that sabotage your healing? What if these aren't character flaws? What if these are the result of parasitic influence? Here's where it gets even deeper. During my darkest period in 2022, when I was doing those nightly purging sessions, I started to understand that trauma creates openings in your energetic field. When you're a child experiencing chronic stress, when your nervous system is constantly in survival mode, when you're suppressed and silenced and forced to swallow your authentic responses, you're not just creating psychological wounds. You're creating energetic wounds that attract parasitic consciousness. I know this sounds esoteric, but stay with me, because the science is starting to catch up with ancient wisdom. Researchers are now discovering that electromagnetic frequencies can influence parasitic behavior. They're finding that certain sound frequencies can actually disrupt parasitic life cycles. What the ancients knew about vibrational healing, modern science is finally beginning to understand. But here's what blew my mind when I started connecting these dots. The same frequencies that can disrupt physical parasites are the same frequencies that can heal trauma stored in the body. The 417 Hz frequency, known for its ability to facilitate change and remove negative energy, is being used in trauma healing protocols. The 528 Hz frequency, called the love frequency, has been shown to repair DNA and promote healing. These aren't just New Age concepts, these are measurable, scientific phenomena. During my healing journey, I discovered that my sugar addiction wasn't just a psychological coping mechanism. Sugar feeds parasites. The more parasites you have, the more you crave sugar. It's a vicious cycle that keeps you trapped in a state of energetic depletion. But when I started using specific frequencies while doing parasite cleanses, something incredible happened. The cravings disappeared. The brain fog lifted. The depression that had been my constant companion for decades started to dissolve. Here's what I realized that changed everything. Physical parasites and energetic parasites work together. They're two sides of the same coin. The physical parasites weaken your immune system and create inflammation, which lowers your vibrational frequency. The lower your frequency, the more attractive you become to energetic parasites. It's a feedback loop that keeps you trapped in a state of chronic illness and emotional dysfunction. But here's the breakthrough that most people miss. You can't heal one without addressing the other. You can do all the psychological work in the world, but if you have parasites manipulating your neurotransmitters, you're fighting an uphill battle. You can take all the anti-parasitic herbs in the world, but if you don't address the energetic attachments, the physical parasites will just keep coming back. This is why my approach is so different from everything else out there. I don't just address the mind or the body or the spirit in isolation. I address the entire system because I understand that consciousness is multidimensional. Your trauma isn't just stored in your nervous system. It's stored in your cellular memory, in your energetic field, in dimensions of reality that most people can't even perceive. Let me share with you the three-part protocol that changed my life. First, the physical cleanse. I started with a comprehensive parasite cleanse using herbs like wormwood, black walnut, and cloves. But I didn't stop there. I added supplements like shilajit, which contains fulvic acid that helps remove heavy metals and toxins that parasites use to hide from your immune system. I added monatomic gold, which enhances cellular communication and raises your vibrational frequency. I added creatine, which supports mitochondrial function and gives your cells the energy they need to fight off invaders. Second, the frequency healing. I created custom subliminal tracks embedded with specific frequencies that target both parasitic consciousness and trauma patterns. I used theta waves to access the subconscious mind, where the deepest programming lives. I used delta waves to promote deep healing during sleep. I used gamma waves to enhance consciousness and spiritual awareness. But here's the key: I didn't just listen to these frequencies passively. I used them during meditation, during breathwork, during emotional release sessions. I made them part of an active healing protocol. Third, the energetic protection. I learned to work with spiritual allies, to call in protective forces, to create energetic boundaries that prevent reattachment. I learned to recognize the difference between my own thoughts and parasitic influence. I learned to clear my energy field daily, to maintain a high vibrational state that makes me an unsuitable host for parasitic consciousness. But here's what I need you to understand. This isn't just about getting rid of parasites. This is about reclaiming your sovereignty. This is about understanding that you are a multidimensional being living in a multidimensional reality, and your healing needs to address all dimensions of your existence. The reason traditional therapy fails so many trauma survivors is because it only addresses one dimension of the problem. The reason medical treatments often fall short is because they ignore the energetic and consciousness aspects of illness. The reason spiritual practices sometimes leave people ungrounded is because they bypass the physical and psychological work that needs to be done. What I'm offering you is a complete system that addresses every level of your being, because I understand that your trauma created openings for parasitic influence, and your healing requires closing those openings while simultaneously clearing the parasites that have taken up residence in your system. I want you to try something right now. Close your eyes and scan your body. Notice where you feel heavy, where you feel drained, where you feel like something is attached to you. Now imagine a bright white light filling your entire body, burning away anything that doesn't belong to you. Imagine this light extending beyond your physical body, creating a protective shield around your entire energy field. This is your natural state. This is what you're fighting to get back to. Your body is not just a physical vessel, it's a temple of consciousness. Your thoughts are not just random neural firings, they're creative forces that shape your reality. Your emotions are not just chemical reactions, they're energetic frequencies that attract or repel different forms of consciousness. When you understand this, when you start working with all dimensions of your being, when you stop limiting yourself to the narrow confines of conventional healing modalities, that's when real transformation becomes possible. That's when you stop being a victim of parasitic influence and start becoming the sovereign creator of your own reality. In my next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to hack your subconscious mind using subliminal reprogramming. I'm going to reveal the specific techniques I use to bypass the conscious mind's resistance and install new programming directly into the subconscious. Because understanding the parasite problem is just the beginning. The real work is reprogramming yourself for freedom. But for now, I want you to start paying attention to what's feeding off your energy. Start noticing the thoughts that don't feel like your own. Start questioning the cravings that sabotage your health. Start recognizing that you are not just a physical body with a brain. You are a conscious being with the power to reclaim your sovereignty from any force that seeks to diminish your light. Your healing journey isn't just about feeling better. It's about becoming who you were meant to be before the parasites, before the programming, before the trauma convinced you that you were small and powerless. You are not small. You are not powerless. And you are definitely not alone in this fight.